group online on Facebook. And today I have its founder, Svet Nazarov, and he's also the author of the three-step system of overcoming panic attacks. Svet struggled with social anxiety and panic attacks and depression for over 3 years, but in less than a year was able to break free from all three. Now he's anxiety, panic, and worry free. So today I have the privilege of being able to pick his brain and ask him questions that myself and other group members want to know. So welcome, Spet. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you for the introduction.
All right. Well, thank you for being here with us today. Our first question is, how were you able to grasp that there was freedom from anxiety?
Um, that's a good question. Uh, so basically, what ended up happening, if people don't know my story, was that I was just really I guess, in a state where I was pretty desperate as far as wanting to change. And I mean, I went to a therapist and I talked to them. I went to a small meeting group, which is kind of like for social anxiety. I think it was on meetup.com. And I just kept seeing a pattern, like people like just kind of were stuck where they're at, and and I, and for me, I just really wanted to change. So being around them kind of motivated me to kind of step out of my shell and begin seeking answers. Um, and so I mean, for me, honestly, I was up 2 o'clock in the morning and I was watching TV, and a program came online that I saw, and I ordered the program, and I began just using the techniques that they taught on there. So that kind of motivated me, I guess. It was the first step of really seeking out solutions and seeking um, people that had already gone through it.
Okay, thank you. And I hear you using the word solutions and techniques.
Sure.
So, what are your beliefs about the anti-anxiety medicines? Did you use any of those to overcome?
Um, the medication, no. Uh, so what ended up happening was I did go to a doctor when I was about, I'll say 5 months into my battle. My anxiety was over, but I was suffering still from depression. I did go to a doctor and I did ask him about prescriptions, and she made me take a test and stuff. And the only thing I remember was how easy it was for her to really give me the medication. It was so easy to get medication from a doctor. It's unbelievable, and that kind of shocked me. And so I did try Celexa for a week, but after I tried that, I was like, this isn't the right way. This is not helping me. There is definitely what I'm doing right now is the right way, and I'm just continue doing on that, continue on that path. So for me, as far as like medication, I'm not 100% against it for, I would say, short-term use, but for long-term use, I really don't believe it, because what it does is you kind of just sweep all your anxieties and all your issues underneath the rug instead of dealing with it head on. And I think people are looking for an easy solution, an easy way to break free from anxiety. But in the end, there is no easy solution. I mean, you're going to have to do hard work. You're going to have to look for solutions. You're going to have to figure it out, what got you here and how you can get out. Because the place where people are at right now with anxiety, I mean, there's a reason why they're there. It doesn't just come out of the blue. There's thought patterns, there's things that you teach yourself that cause you to have anxiety and depression. And so it's just a matter of figuring out what you can do to reverse that and to begin molding and crafting your mind to be anxious free.
Okay, and I hear you talking about the mind. So,
Yeah.
is that what you did to overcome it? Like, what exactly did you have to do to overcome the anxiety?
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, it was a lot of hard work. I mean, um, specifically, I really focused on relaxation. I really focused on affirmations. I really focused on just changing how I think about things. Um, Here's one test that people can try, whoever's watching this video. I mean, go home, take a piece of paper or a small notebook with you, and just walk around your day, right? Just have a normal day, and put a tick mark every single time that you have a negative thought. So whenever something comes up like, oh, like crap, my day is not going so good today, or I don't look so good, or I don't feel good, or oh, they're gonna think bad about me. I want to challenge the people who are watching this to just do a tick mark every single day. And when I actually did that, I was surprised because I saw that I had maybe like 100 tick marks. So it became really blatantly obvious to me that my thoughts and how I was thinking was creating this anxiety and depression.
Okay, and that makes sense. So during your actual healing process,
Yeah.
so you dealt with your thoughts and you tried to take control of that. But what happened on your days when you had setbacks and you were having a good day, but on those bad days, what
Right.
prevented you from just going back and sinking back into deep anxiety?
Yeah, so honestly, when you first begin, I remember at first I was skeptical, but when I first began, I started seeing results, and so that's what motivated me. I mean, it just surprised me because when you become more socially confident and when your mindset begins to change, it's more addicting than being negative. It's much more addicting. When I started noticing that my posture was more upright, that I had the confidence to speak to people, and that I was getting over my anxiety, that just motivated me more and more every single day to keep going forward. And on those days that they were gloomy, I did. I mean, to be honest, I did resort to prayer. I did seek God for those things. But at the same time, I just kept myself focused, and I knew that what got me to where I was working, and that I just had to keep focusing on those skills and to keep working hard every single day. And literally, I remember the day where my anxiety and my depression were over with. I just kind of woke up and I was like, wow, I don't feel depressed anymore. Like it's a great day outside. And I knew right there in that moment that the change had completed.
Okay, now I heard you say that you went to the doctor for the depression. So does that
Yeah.
mean the anxiety and the panic attack stopped first, and then you still were suffering with the depression?
Yeah. So the panic attacks, they only lasted me for about a month to get over with. I was over them in a month. My social anxiety took about 3 months to the point where I wasn't super anxious or I wasn't able to like have conversations with strangers. I was able to do that and work through those things. But I remember as soon as my anxiety was over, I just had this really deep kind of cloud of depression, and that for me was the hardest because we're so focused on the anxiety and only see that's the main issue we begin dealing with. But usually, depression is comorbid with anxiety, like 90% of the time. If you have anxiety, you most likely have depression too.
And that's a very good point. I actually never heard the two go together like that.
Yeah.
So, um, based off just the questions, what would you say you had a support group while you were going through this, or were you just it was strictly you doing this on your own?
During the time, it was just me. I mean, I guess I'm one of those individuals who's really self-motivated and who's able to work hard towards something. So when I have a goal in mind, I'm able just to narrow it down and be super focused. But the thing was too, at the same time, is that I was disciplining myself by feeding myself good thoughts every single day. I was just reading in my bathroom. I'm at my parents' house right now, so I'm not home where I live up in Seattle. And my affirmations from when I was going through anxiety, they're still in my bathroom window when I would read them every single morning. So I guess it's just a matter of discipline of really focusing and continuing to use the process of feeding yourself good thoughts and replacing the negative thoughts. But at the same time, I know people want community, so I know it's really important. For some people, they need that. So that's the reason why I created social anxiety freedom, is because I know people are seeking community, but people need to be motivated and encouraged to see change in their life.
Good, good. Okay. So, what are the steps you recommend? I hear you saying it's our thought process and positive affirmations, but in the middle of a panic attack and the thoughts just aren't there, what did you
Right.
do during those times?
It's a good question. So first of all, when you start having a panic attack, what's the first thing you start thinking? You start thinking like, "Oh crap, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have a heart attack. Everyone's gonna know. Everyone sees me. I'm freaking out." I remember those days. So the very first thing people need to start doing is to start when they start having the heart racing and that your heart starts racing really fast, your hands start getting sweaty, is you really need to start focusing on calming yourself down. The first time you're going to do this, it's not going to be a success right away. It's going to be as you build upon it, you're going to get better and better at it. So what I teach people is the first time you start feeling it, instead of sort of focusing on the anxiety and your heart racing, start focusing on your breath. Start breathing in through your nose. I do through a 2 count through your nose, so deep breaths, and then exhale through your mouth to a count of 4. And start counting this in your head to 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and whatever to 4 Mississippi. And And two, you can do this in front of crowds, in front of people. No one's going to notice if you're breathing to yourself or counting in your head. No one's really going to notice. It's going to think you're breathing. So I guess the key is when that anxiety starts to set in, is to begin implementing and changing your thoughts right away, to begin relaxing yourself and calming yourself
Okay, good. So what I understand that you just said is as soon as the anxiety come, we need to combat it. But the first few times we do this, it may not go, as smooth as we think it should,
down. Right.
but not to give up, to try it again for the next panic attack and keep going is what you're saying?
Exactly, because when you start facing this anxiety, you're going to have more anxiety right away because you're beginning to face it, and that's scary. It's okay to feel scared about it. It's okay to have some fear, but when you begin facing it, you're going to have some anxiety. And I think a lot of people, they get discouraged and they quit so early and they give up instead of pushing through because it's difficult and hard. But you need to keep going. You need to keep using the tools because they do work.
Okay. So I have another question. The actual physical effects from anxiety, like dizziness or head pressure, anything like that, did you go through any of that while you were going through anxiety?
As far as like during the panic attack or just in general?
Just in general.
Well, I did have brain fog. That was common to me.
Okay.
That was probably one of the things that I was the hardest thing to deal with. That I was dealing with a daily basis was the brain fog.
Okay. So with I know it's the brain fog, do you still experience that now that you actually don't have the panic attacks anymore?
No, I don't experience it anymore.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to
Yeah,
know. So a real question for our viewers, there is hope and there's a way out of anxiety, right?
of course. And I mean, it's hard when you're watching a video and you're seeing someone that you don't know and maybe who doesn't have, like, I'm not like Oprah or something, and I'm saying you can break free, but there is freedom. And I'm just an average person. I'm an average Joe. I was lucky enough to stumble across techniques and tools that helped me. And I guess the only thing that separates me from other people was that I was willing just to continue and to work hard at it and to go by day and keep believing it because I kept seeing results. So for anybody out there, I would just encourage them to keep working hard, and it is true. You can break free, and you'll start seeing some results. You just got to work at it.
Okay. One other question. Do you see anything in your life that you actually, outside of the thoughts, that you had to change? Like maybe company you were keeping, or I don't know, things you watched on TV. Anything that you found that in order for your anxiety to get better, there were just certain things you had to get rid of?
Yeah, I had to get a lot of things radically. For one thing, the friends who I was hanging out with, they always brought me down. They kind of used me in the end. And I was a big time people pleaser, so I could never say no to them, and I always did whatever they told me to. And that was a big realization for me, was that the people who you surround yourself with is literally who you become. So you have to be super careful of who you choose as far as friends, because they're going to motivate you or push you in the direction of where you're going to go in your life. So yeah, I stopped hanging out with certain friends. Um, as far as other things, I think I just really began guarding my mind as far as what people said, and not always believing what people said, and I guess challenging thoughts, um, that kind of stuff. So
Okay. So what I hear you basically saying, what helped for you were the positive affirmations, the breathing, and then you let go of certain things in your circle that were keeping you negative, and just persistence. You just continuously did all of those things, no matter how hard it got. You just did them.
yeah, and it's really that simple. I mean, it's not complicated at all. There's no some kind of secret formula that I think a lot of people are looking for. They think that there's some kind of that breaking through from anxiety has to be so complicated, or there's these certain secret techniques out there. In reality, it's really simple, and it's anyone can do it, and it just takes hard work and diligence, and you have to want it more than anybody else. You have to want it to change.
Okay. So what do you say to that person who says, okay, well, that's just you. You had some special power from God, but I'm not like you, and I can't overcome this. Like, what do you say to that man or woman out there thinking those thoughts?
Yeah. Well, one, I don't have any special gift from God, that's for sure. Um, it's a funny joke. Yeah, I would just say, just I guess be encouraged and to keep fighting the good fight and keep working hard. I mean, you might not, someone watching this right now probably doesn't believe what I'm saying or hasn't seen the results they've wanted to see. But if you keep working hard, if you keep implementing the tools, if you keep moving forward, even if it's an inch, even if you just move out a little bit, just get a little bit out of your comfort zone or take a little bit of as far as a step, like go buy a book that helps you out. Go look for thought leaders. I mean, join our social anxiety group. Just take one step at a time. Take baby steps and be patient. But just start doing something. I mean, so many people with anxiety, they sit back and they complain. They complain that they're stuck. They complain that that they're miserable. They complain that their life sucks. But you have that power to begin changing your life. You have that power to step out of your comfort zone and begin doing something. And when you begin doing something, you won't regret it because you keep moving forward.
Okay, good. And I hear you talking about your Facebook group, Social Anxiety Freedom. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what can we expect from being in that group?
Yeah, so social anxiety freedom. I mean, I started because I first started YouTube videos. And I guess for me, I wanted to see, like, I wanted to help people. I could see it live and live time where I can, like, actually help people out and see it and write things. I could see right away feedback from people. So I created that in mind, and knowing that I wanted to build some kind of social group. So, I mean, things you can expect there. I mean, I moderate it, so I'm there on a daily basis as much as I can. I mean, obviously, as the group grows, then other people, I think, will help me out. But what I do there is I just try to make it an environment that's uplifting, healthy, encouraging to people. And I really stay away from a lot of other groups I've seen on Facebook. They just kind of demoralize, and people post a lot of things that are negative and just bring people down. Kind of the same thing I was talking about, like who you surround yourself with is who you're going to be. So what I do is I try to post daily pictures that motivate. There are actually things off of my own news feed that I read that motivate me, and I think they're going to help motivate other people. So I post those. I also do bi-weekly blogs, and also just answer people's questions and comments. I think people are surprised to the fact that I actually listen to them and I answer the questions and try to help them out because I think maybe they think I'm not free from anxiety, and so they kind of think I'm just like some random person. But I really do have a heart for helping people, and I really want to see people change because I know how much it sucks to be in it, and I knew when I was in it that there wasn't anyone to help me out. So I kind of want to bring that same help to people now. So yeah, I don't answer questions.
Okay, well that's good, and I can say the positivity that I get from the group, it has helped me tremendously.
Awesome.
Now, what are your views on actual therapy? Would you call your group therapy, or what would you? How do you feel about actual therapy?
Um, no, I wouldn't call my group therapy. I mean, for me, I try to take therapy away from it as much as I possibly can because, I mean, what's the first thing that you think about when you think about therapy? What do you think about?
Laying on the couch and telling all your problems.
And how many people actually want to do
Nobody.
that? Exactly. So I just try to stay away from completely. I mean, my belief in therapists, I really don't believe you need a therapist to break free from social anxiety because you have the tools within your own mind to be able to see freedom. Um, and so I guess that's my stance on like therapy. I'm not anti it, but I don't believe that you need it for anxiety and depression.
Okay, that makes sense. Now,
Yeah.
before we close out, I just have a couple questions. I heard you speak about God. Now, did your relationship with God help you overcome this anxiety?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, my when I got saved, as Christians would say, what happened when I was going through anxiety and depression. So for me, it's kind of deep in the roots. I mean, when I was going through it, I always questioned. I think as people, when we suffer, we always ask, what's the purpose of this, or what's the reason of my suffering? And for me, I asked that question a lot, and I guess through it, my relationship with God did grow because I had to really depend on Him through prayer and seeking Him out. Um, but when I broke free from it, I understood why I went through it was to help and bless other people. So it's really become like my mission to help other people because I've been through it myself.
Okay. Well, I definitely do thank you. I thank you for being with us today. Do you have any final words just to the anxiety group as a whole to encourage or motivate anyone?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the people there, I would say, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to seek solutions. I'm here. Other people are there to support you, and we want the best for you, and we want to see you change. And for anyone who's watched this video, if you're looking for that environment, or you're looking for that change, or you're looking for that information, or anything you're looking for help, then our group would be a perfect fit for you to come join. And I know it'd be a benefit for anybody.
All right. Well, I definitely want to thank you, Svet, for speaking with us today. And for anyone out here viewing, like you said, if you're not part of the group, go and check it out. It's facebook.com/groups/socially free. And you can join and just be encouraged. And it's a lot of positive things in there. And we definitely, again, want to say thank you for visiting with us today. And thank you, Svet, for spending time with us.
Yeah, no
Everyone,
problem. Thank you for having me.
bye.